We have the seeker, light attributes, thirst for wisdom and truth wherever they are. Shadow attribute, inability to commit to a path once found. So you are on the consistent, eternal mission of finding truth, answers, knowledge. But the shadow side is you're almost never satisfied, or you never stay put. Once you have, dived into one area, you're on to the next and the next and the next. And it leaves you almost in this constant wanderer is what I'm getting. Constant nomad, never really settles down or stops to smell the roses, if that makes sense. And what I also get with this wanderer mentality is that you may, in this process for truth and knowledge, be such on an outward search for all this, I heard existential, almost like existential crisis of trying to figure out what we're here for and what's the point and why does any of this matter. That was a very interesting thing that might stem true for some of you listening, where you might be at a place in time in your life where you're questioning life and maybe have set out on a journey to discover those truths and figure out what you've really been here for. And maybe there's felt like a facade, and you've gone out on a journey to set forth for some more meaning in your life, which is very admirable. But at the same time, I get the sense that on this journey, on this search, you've been looking so much outwardly that you have possibly avoided some of the internal journey, as we have the Fool card here with the light attributes of fearlessly revealing emotion, helping people laugh at absurdity and hypocrisy. But the shadow side mentions using humor to wound rather than liberate, denial of your emotional truth. And with these combined, it made me think of a somewhat seeking all this external truth, but somewhat hiding behind a mask and avoiding your deeper truths that would actually give you more higher knowledge of self and more of the meaning of your own individual life, instead of searching for all this existential, outward, external satisfaction of truth and knowledge, because it doesn't really help you in your life as much as getting to your core. I heard core wounds. So there's obviously a lot here that I think you might also be using this search for knowledge and search for all this truth and information and book smarts to expand upon only in one area where you are avoiding something more deeper and concrete that could be more helpful to you on an emotional body, soul, mind connection to healing and making you feel more grounded and more understanding of what you're here for and who you are, and the meaning of your experiences and your past experiences and maybe some hurts and pains that you've experienced. But you're avoiding digging deep because it's almost like this is easier to tackle. This is easier to focus on because it's not focusing on yourself. It's not focusing on hurts and pains, but at the same time, you're avoiding truths that you need to uncover, because those hurts and pains are going to give you the knowledge that you need, the uncoverings that you need of yourself to kind of cultivate the whole point. It's almost like avoiding a wound or a cut that's like constantly bleeding. I know this is getting graphic, but this is what I'm seeing. That's like bleeding and oozing, and it's like you want to go play basketball or go play a sport because that's more fun to you. But meanwhile, it's like, you're bleeding on the floor, you're bleeding on the court, you're bleeding all over the place, but you're like ignoring the big wound in front of you for something more fun, more easier to handle, easier to tackle. Because if you actually address that wound, it might be painful and it might be messy and it might take some work, and you just don't want to deal with that sometimes, it feels. So I feel like this mask is very representative of something that you kind of avoid, and there is some healing here that I'm getting with this combo. I feel like there is a duality here and you might actually be on the surface very about revealing some emotions. For some of you who feel like, no, I'm very open with my emotions and things like that, I feel like there may be parts of you that is very open, but there might be deeper aspects, deeper woundings that you kind of keep a little bit covered, or keep a little bit to yourself, that you're feeling like, I don't need to go there, if that makes sense. Even as open as you might act like you are, not maybe act, but portray yourself to be, there's still a little bit of you hiding behind the mask, because I feel like there's much deeper hurts and pains that are just too painful to go to, and you're it might be a little bit at times in denial of just how much those wounds hurt. And I think part of the source of your pain is there's wounds still lingering in these areas and still being carried with you. And you might be on this solo journey, but there might be reasons why you feel like you have to be solo. Because when we look at the other cards, we see that we have the loyalty card, but that came up in reverse. So what does that mean? So to me, that means that maybe you feel like you have been loyal to people, but I feel like you have a bad rap with the sense of loyalty, where I feel like you don't feel like people are as loyal to you as you are to them, and therefore you feel like this lone wolf on a journey of truth and knowledge, that you might feel, I get the sense of being like ahead of people. You might even pride yourself on this, and instead there's a lot that you actually maybe keep yourself separate at the same time. Like, you want loyalty, but at the same time you push people away because you don't feel like people can be on your level. And at the same time, you actually are also hiding parts of yourself, and you keep yourself hidden from people, from maybe even being able to dive deeper with you, because you don't actually believe that they'll be loyal. You don't believe that they'll stick around. You've probably been hurt in the past, and I can understand this completely. So therefore, you put up a wall, put up maybe a little bit more of a jokey side, do things more alone because it's safer. And how is this the source of your pain? Well, we have first chakra, base chakra, for when we are tapping into your energy body. And this talks all about embracing courage, faith, adaptability, as they are needed for me to overcome my fear of change or of the future. I regularly remind myself to be positive and open to possibilities, knowing that I am the creator of my own destiny. I embrace the warrior within me. I remind myself to be a warrior, not a worrier. I am not a victim. I feel the fear and I do it anyway. I am ready and eager to move forwards. So with the first chakra, base chakra, this is all about being grounded and feeling secure and safe. And I think that there is a part of you that doesn't. So there might be some energetic parts of you. You might have pains in this area. The base chakra is all about like the lower extremities, the sexual regions. There could be like leg stability issues, weaknesses, sometimes maybe even sexual dysfunctions. Anything in that range can stem from not feeling safe, not feeling secure, not having a strong base root chakra. Some weakened emotional issues can affect feeling strong in those areas. And then we also have the fifth chakra coming up, which is the throat chakra, which is all about creative expression. It says, I am committed to sharing and revealing my thoughts and feelings by being creative in my communication style and using expressive language. I express myself through talking, singing, sighing, laughing, and crying. And through using my creative talents, I consciously use my senses to experience my world more fully. I see, hear, smell, and feel more. And I become more aware of my surroundings, such as the weather, aromas, people, nature, sounds, and sights. And to me, the throat chakra is all about, speaking your truth. But in this sense, it's also about something here with talking, singing, sighing. You might like to sing, speaking your truth and sharing your emotions. And through using your creative talents, if you're singers, there might be something here that helps you free some of your blockages, some of the hesitations to be yourself. Maybe there's a fear of judgment, but it is saying that there is a sense here of needing to do more of this. This is something very deeply attached to you. It could be singing in the shower. It could be expressing yourself, deep conversations. There's a lot here that you express audibly that is very helpful and healing to you. And if you have been lacking in that, if you have been lacking your true self-expression, as we were talking before, diving deeper with others, expressing your deeper parts of you, or maybe hiding parts of yourself, I feel like it has limited. There may be blockages in those areas. The throat chakra, you could have what they call like glandular issues, sore throats, issues in those areas, your mouth, teeth, anything within those regions. I believe also it's, neck, anything in that area. I believe, if I'm correct, that you could also have like tensions, anything like that, getting stressed in those areas, like tightness in those areas, neck issues, tightness in your neck and getting a sore neck, things like that is all the things that I'm thinking associated with feeling blocked in that area, not freely flowing and being yourself and expressing yourself. When we're talking about where is your pain stemming from, there's a whole thing of speaking your truth, being in your truth, and maybe hesitating to truly be and express who you are, because there is a sense of, with this loyalty card, I got the sense of just feeling like judgment, feeling like people won't stick around. Like maybe if you shared your true self and all your woundings and they saw you for who you really were, you thought people would judge you and they wouldn't want to stick around, and you'd look like this damaged box of toys, like damaged goods, and you kind of hide part of yourself to maybe fit in a little box that you think is more acceptable. But in the same time, it's kind of having you feel on the sidelines, alone, and not, like, it's like almost like not fully owning yourself and being yourself, and therefore there's these like limitations. You might have energetic just imbalances and fatigue or illnesses that keep popping up, weaknesses in some of these areas, injuries, anything of that nature, pains, aches and pains. There might be something going on when we're talking about the source of your pains. A lot of the belief is that energy imbalances are the source of a lot of illnesses and pains and aches in the body. And the whole thing, I think, is the sole part of this is I feel like you don't feel accepting of yourself, and you don't feel that others would be accepting of you. And I think until you find a way to love yourself more, do the things that you enjoy just for the sake of you doing them, going and smelling the roses, picking flowers, doing innocent little things that just bring you joy, whatever that is, creatively, expressing yourself vocally, and however it is that you combine the two for you to feel more like you and not caring what the world thinks of you, and loving yourself and accepting yourself, and knowing that whoever truly really loves you will accept those things too. I think until you do that and accept that, these disturbances, these imbalances will continue to affect you. And when we're asking what is the source of your pain, is you really want to be accepted, but you first need to be accepting of yourself, because that is the only person, first and foremost, who you are with your entire life that truly matters. It's your internal self, your higher self. And I think until those parts of you feel aligned, this is something that needs to be worked on for you to feel truly whole within you, so that it doesn't matter what the world thinks of you, because you think highly of yourself, and then those will resonate with the way you feel about yourself. You will draw better people into your life. You will draw more meaningful, loyal people into your life, so that we could flip this around and you'll feel a sense of community, camaraderie with people around you, regardless of your differences. So, I hope that this has been helpful. I hope you have found some sense of peace, understanding, a little piece of yourself in there. I'm sure will speak to those individually, But some part of this, if you have found it helpful, I'm glad. And I feel that there is some work that you can do energetically and internally and outwardly to help heal those imbalances and start moving forward. So I hope you have a beautiful night, and until the next one, see you then. Bye.